chilly spring afternoon, and I was sitting in my blue Ford Maverick, fondly known as Bluebird, on a quiet street surrounded by trees swaying in the breeze. While waiting, I noticed a group of 5 young adults walking from one building to another. I could see the individuals had disabilities as they progressed along the sidewalk. I was overcome with emotion of gratitude and guilt. And I thought, how fortunate I am. Would they ever have families of their own? Children? Homes? Same experiences as me? As I sat in my car crying, I found my purpose. People. To be a positive difference in people's lives. After years of wondering what I was meant for, just like that, I found my passion, my purpose. Now, to find the courage to pursue it. See, I was a quiet and shy child, seldomly speaking up, always doing what others expected of me. Growing up, I felt lost, like I was pretending to be someone I wasn't. I was insecure, relying on others to tell me who I was. Until one day in college, I learned I was the lost child in my alcoholic codependent family unit. With this realization, I lost the excuse of this is what they expect of me and had to accept responsibility for myself and who I wanted to be. Like when Diana Prince realizes she is and needs to become Wonder Woman. Or, for those of you who don't know who Diana Prince is, a Clark Kent becoming Superman moment. It was a struggle to become my own person. With every decision I made for myself, I felt selfish and guilty. Although hours away, ties with family were still strong. With every request to return home to play the continuous role of lost child I denied, I felt like I was letting others down. But I stayed focused, and with each year that passed, the guilt of not acting on other people's expectations became less, and I found more of me. I learned to value myself over others' expectations, finding my inner Wonder Woman. With this new confidence, I found the job early in my career where I could pursue my purpose of helping people, helping them learn new skills, gain independence, and have choice in their lives. I worked hard. I gave everything. In 5 years, I went from a manager to chief operating officer, and I believed I would be the next CEO. Life was great. I had clarity, confidence, and a sense of belonging. Who could ask for more? The current CEO, let's call him Bob, a man that when I met was sincere, trustworthy, and at times my biggest fan, later showed a shockingly different side. Before I knew it, during his extreme absenteeism, I was running the company, making decisions, and navigating challenges with the board. And if that wasn't enough, dealing with the fallout from his unethical extra business affairs. And I'm not talking about building startups on the side, if you get what I mean. Bob, my biggest fan, was unscrupulous and untrustworthy. He betrayed my trust, and after a decade and a half, I was resentful. Reflecting on the past 15 years, I realized I was playing a well too familiar role. When I took off my glasses and saw him for who he really was, I realized my Garden of Eden now had a snake. I knew I couldn't stay, so I left. My heart broke to leave the people, but I learned my blind loyalty and giving up so much of myself was enabling a person who didn't deserve it. And just like that, I went from lost child to Wonder Woman again. Interestingly, though, this took me to a memory of a night when I was 10 years old. I played house and ran through orchards with Linda for years. I spent more time at her house than mine, and I shared all my secrets with her. We had a bond. We were best friends. Then one night, Linda chose to smoke marijuana at the drive-in during my birthday party. I was hurt, angry, and conflicted. Having an alcoholic father in my household, I had very clear values around drugs and alcohol at that young age. So I ended our lifelong friendship that meant the world to me. I stood with my values, stepping out of the lost child role, and this was probably my first Wonder Woman moment. Now, years later, my Wonder Woman rose again, but this time because of Bob. I left that job, and I went to another job as Chief Operating Officer, quickly immersing myself in the work, silently wanting more. Over the 9 years, I applied to several CEO positions with other companies. With each rejection, I began to question my capabilities, losing belief in myself. Was I capable of more? Was I really meant to be a CEO? This doubt and insecurity also crept into my personal life, and my marriage deteriorated. During this time, I went and saw a counselor, and he said something that still sits with me today. He said, "Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to be your mother?" Whoa. Did I just get called out? I had to face the fact I had recreated my alcoholic codependent family within my own family as a wife and mom. It was like having Wonder Woman's lasso of truth wrapped around me and seeing my truth for the first time. Again, I had to face myself and admit I was playing a role. I filed for divorce, destroying the perfect picture I had created for all to see and believe, including me. I lost the life I knew in that moment, and me, to an extent. Who was I? Where was I really supposed to be? And where is Wonder Woman? Nowhere to be found, probably off in her invisible jet vacationing on a beautiful beach somewhere. Then, surprisingly, a CEO job came knocking at my door, and I took it. I had barely started building myself up again when, brace yourselves, the opportunity came to go back to my first company, that company. I know. The call came from Bob himself. He was stepping down and wanted me to be his successor. But this transition came at a cost. You see, Bob had again put me in a position where I would have to choose between who I was and what I wanted. I was at a crossroads with a tough decision. I had made a commitment to the current organization and its people, and that mattered to me. And yet, here was the opportunity to go back to the people I had left 10 years ago, and they needed me. Regardless of the decision I made, I would be letting people down as a leader. People, my passion. There is nothing more difficult for me to do than to choose between people, my purpose. I told myself, this is the moment, Wendy. You find your fierce. I needed to finish what I had started 25 years ago, and I brought Wonder Woman back. Up until the day I started back at the job, I wondered, had I made the right choice? Then the day came. I walked up the 3 flights of stairs, feeling anxious and excited, and down the hallway. I walked into my office, and I knew I was home. I knew I belonged. And I thought, this is where I'm meant to be, if only for this moment. Standing there, I realized it would have been easier to stay away, just as it would have been easier to stay the lost child, keep my friendship with Linda, perhaps to even have stayed when Bob was at his worst. Yes, it was harder to make the tough decisions and to believe in myself. I know as women, we live off of high expectations. We believe we should know who we are every moment of our lives. I'm here to tell you, it's not real. Wonder Woman isn't real. But I stand here today knowing I am stronger than I believe. I will be true to myself and my values. And I had to believe in myself to find my Wonder Woman and to become the leader I was meant to be.